If you're selling things online, you understand the importance of shipping things in a timely manner to your customers. Now, the impending situation coming on with shipping providers, USPS, UPS, FedEx, things like that, could throw a hamper on your plans. But in order to stay in front of that, we've put together a list of 3 things to help get you through the holiday season that much smoother. What is up? Welcome to the Jam. I am Gordon from Marmalead.
I am Richie from Marmalead.
And today we're talking about shipping. If you're selling things online, you know the importance of shipping and how important it is to get your products to customers sooner than later. People have gotten accustomed to getting things next day, 2 days later, and stuff like that. It's not always possible in the Etsy space, but it is still very important to get things to them in a very timely manner.
Especially with the holidays coming up, because people are going to be a little bit more stressed out about their holiday shopping, and as they always are whenever there's a holiday, because there's actually a day when you're kind of expecting it, and some people are shopping last minute, something that for whatever reason we've gotten accustomed to doing, even though it typically doesn't end well in most years, and this year we're talking about 2020.
That's right. And unfortunately, there's been some news that's come to light about the status of shipping and what people can expect going into the holidays here in 2020. You want to share what we found, Richie?
Absolutely. So there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, and basically FedEx and UPS have already started notifying their largest shippers that they're running out of shipping capacity, which I think is interesting wording, because normally we're used to hearing delays, like, hey, they're want to notify you of delays. Running out of shipping capacity sounds like an interesting choice of wording because it makes me think like they just literally don't have room for your package. Not only will it be a few days late, like we might not actually be able to take it. Now, it doesn't go on to actually say that, but based on the wording, I wouldn't be using those words, those kind of escalation words, if that wasn't really the case. And This, is the end of October. They're saying this is the end of October. So could get interesting. It's supposed to get interesting. But also Etsy put out an article that USPS and was another carrier too are actually raising their shipping prices a little bit. It's not a lot, but nonetheless, if you're offering free shipping, it is going to cut into it, and definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah, that's right. And Etsy mentioned that if you're buying your postage through them, then you're going to get a little bit of a cheaper rate than if you go straight to USPS to do your shipping there too. But not everybody's doing that. And even then, if you're doing that, your rates are still going to go up from where they were before. And so that's something as a seller you need to be aware of. Not only the increase of rates, probably across the board for carriers, but also the potential delays and capacity issues. Like Richie said, it's a term that shippers don't really use very frequently. We usually hear them saying we're experiencing long delays, in shipping and stuff like that. But to say they're at capacity for being able to take on new clients and things like that for shipping things, it's a bit of a red flag, especially for people in the e-commerce space that completely rely on shipping to get their products to their end users.
Apparently, the difference in delivery capacity versus demand is forecasted to be more than 3 times higher than 2019. Just to put some perspective on it.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And I'm sure they're aware of this, right? And they're trying to work on whatever they can behind the scenes to hire more people, get more trucks on the road and stuff like that. But realistically, there's only so much they're going to be able to do in this short amount of time and still be able to meet the demands that are going to be pressed upon them going into these holidays.
Yeah. So you're probably thinking at this point, well, I can't change what they're going to do as far as capacity. So what can I do as an Etsy shop to get through this? Because my objective is still to sell things online and get those things to my customers so they can get them to their loved ones.
Yep. Well, so we've got 3 tips for you guys to hopefully help you head this off at the pass and have this not be as much of an issue for your shop as you're going into the holidays.
Number 1, press your customers for urgency. So try not to let them wait till the last minute. We've all been there, right? We find something we like, we bookmark it, we add it to the cart, we think about it, we figure we're going to go back to it later, we don't. Next thing you know, Aunt Martha doesn't have a present because you never actually bought it. It's just in your bookmark somewhere. So this is not the year to let customers think that everything's just going to be okay. Because keep in mind, that your customers aren't going to be paying attention to this unless they're in a business where they're actually concerned about shipping things. They're not really paying attention, or, these articles aren't going to be speaking to them. We pay attention to these things because we're in that space. But if you're just kind of hanging around buying stuff and you do something totally different outside of something being shipped, you're not really paying attention to it. You're still expecting things to show up on a normal time frame, and you're not expecting cutoff dates.
Yeah, this is something that you're going to have to be the one communicating it to your customers. Like Richie's saying, they're not going to be the one finding articles about shipping, more than likely, and then wanting to react to that. So it's important that you do that. You have it in your description for your listings, maybe even put something in your photos and express that urgency about, look, we're going into the holidays. Things are looking like they're going to be crazy this year. You should get your purchases in now to ensure that we can get them to you in time. Now, fortunately, Etsy is also going to be working with you on this, because Etsy is aware of the shipping concerns coming up, and they're not going to want to have their business or your businesses take a hit because of that. And so the wording and the communication that they're sending out to shoppers is going to be hand in hand with what you're telling your shoppers also. It's that, look, if you're wanting to be buying things for the holidays, you really need to be doing it now and not putting it off till the last second, because in past years, maybe that has worked for you and you've been able to kind of get things in at the last minute. But this year could be kind of different. And if you want to make sure that your aunt has something to open on Christmas morning, that you get it out there now. And then you place that order.
Yes. Stay calm, but be decisive. And set those expectations nice and early. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
The next one is to check shipping status and the times, the shipping lengths, and also communicate that to customers and potential customers as well. Right? So step one was, yes, we want to make the decision early. Step two is still, even if they're buying early, make sure to set the right expectations. So we found there are a few different links. So UPS, USPS, FedEx, they have links on their website, and based on the zip code based on either one, the destination or the sender, but based on the sender zip code you can put in, it'll tell you on a map how long it's going to take to different parts of the country.
Yep. And so if you're not already aware of these websites, they'll be down in the description. You should be checking them, and you should be using that to communicate the most recent up-to-date information about shipping times. If you're using UPS or if you're using FedEx or whatever, make sure you're communicating those shipping times to your customers when they're going to be expecting to receive things. And you can use those too as a seller to kind of keep tabs on which carrier might I want to be going with for shipping my things. Maybe I usually do USPS, but they're like super delayed right now, so I got to switch over to FedEx, or I need to switch over to UPS today. Things are probably going to change as volume moves from one carrier to the other. So it's important to stay on top of that stuff, not only to communicate it, but to make decisions based upon that.
That's a really good point. Because the lowest price carrier, which in the past, makes sense to go with to save a little bit of money if you can. But if it's close and the lowest price one is packed, and your stuff might even be hanging out in that distribution center down in Atlanta for who knows how long, because that's happened to me recently. And you don't know. It's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to arrive on Thursday. Thursday goes. Friday goes, still hasn't moved. And then it shows up on Tuesday. And you're like, wait, what happened there? What,
Yeah.
So keep an eye on those things.
Yep. You should also be aware of what pricing is costing for shipping too, right? And if you're offering free shipping on your listings, but you've kind of figured out what the average cost of shipping is, and you've built that into the price of your product so that, the customer feels good about free shipping, but you're not like eating the cost of all the shipping, you're going to want to maybe change some of your pricing around if rates are going to be going up, or if you know that you're going to need to be paying a little bit more to make sure things are getting places on time. Make sure you head that off and adjust your prices accordingly.
Now you might be thinking, what happens if my price ends up higher than my competition? Well, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, if it's outrageous, but don't be pinching pennies here, because trust is going to go a long way. So if you are a prepared seller and the customer is reading your stuff and seeing, okay, wow, this seller really seems prepared, really seems proactive in letting me know exactly what to expect, and they're comparing you against ones who aren't, you're going to look very prepared, and they're going to feel safe putting their money with you and having that great experience. Versus, well, this other shop's not really saying anything about shipping, doesn't really maybe seem in the loop. Just because they're not saying anything, this is the kind of stuff that shoppers online think. because they don't have someone to actually interface with. I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in to the Jam by Marmalead. Marmalead helps guide you to keywords that real Etsy shoppers are using, so you can get more sales doing what you love. Check out Marmalead in the link in the description or at marmalead.com. All right, so the third thing you can do as part of this plan is to offer something else if the actual product won't make it in time. You could offer something like a digital download, so there's some sort of other option that you could add to your shop overall, or still sell that physical product, but be proactive. And, we all know last minute, it's not going to work, but they still really want this thing, which is great because you've done a great job with what you're selling. How about a printable card that they can give Aunt Martha in place of the gift, the gift that's actually on its way, right? So Aunt Martha still has something wonderful, still sees what it is, still feels that love, and, knows what it is, has something to open, and realizes that it's on the way, which is fantastic and very understanding given this year particularly.
And I mean, you have to kind of consider the alternative to this too. The alternative is that the person doesn't get a gift. They don't have anything to open. It's not going to be here for another 2 weeks or whatever it's going to take to get shipped to them. And so as a customer, they're going to appreciate your extra effort that you're making, that next step that you're putting together this thing for them. Yes, they can go to Etsy and print out the receipt and stuff like that, or whatever they want to do on their own. But if you as the seller are doing this proactively, like, look, I'm sorry, shipping times are crazy. You knew this when you bought it because it's communicated in the description and everything. But look, here's what I can do. I can give you a link to download this and you can print it and give it to them that way. That's something that as a customer, I think that they would appreciate rather than just, sorry, it's going to be late,
Absolutely. The more proactive and the more prepared it seems, and we're not saying to just spring this on them, right? We're saying to be proactive about this. Surprise, you don't get you don't get the thing you bought in time is not the strategy here. It's being proactive.
Not the strategy.
And the more prepared you seem and the nice, having this nice, people are going to feel more comfortable with it and it's going to seem a lot more normal.
So those are 3 tips to help you guys out through this holiday season. Hope you're as prepared as possible and you have a good one. Thanks for sticking around for the jam.